Oh, there he is right there, folks. Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's a good one right there. Bring him up in here, yes. Oh man, I love me some Texas rig. Now I don't care if you're a beginner angler or a seasoned pro, we all use the Texas rig to help us catch bass like this one. But one of the biggest questions about the Texas rig is whether or not you should put a bullet weight in front of your Texas rig. And if so, how heavy should that weight be for the situation you're fishing? In this video, we're gonna cover just that. My name's Tyler, and let's talk about it. Another giant, another giant. Look at that, y'all. I can't believe what I just caught. Yes! What's going on, folks, and welcome back to TRF. My goal here on this channel, as always, is to help you guys become better bass anglers and catch more fish. And so if that's what you want, hit that subscribe button. This video is brought to you in part by GMC and their awesome Sierra 2500 Denali truck. This thing is an amazing truck. More on that to come. The Texas rig is what this video is all about. If you want to see a video of me showing you how to rig the Texas rig with every single soft plastic category, that video I think has like 800,000 views. I will link that one in the video description for you all to check out if you've never thrown a Texas rig. But for those of y'all who have, we're going to talk about the three main weight categories when it comes to a bullet weight in front of your Texas rig and where you should use each one. Starting with category number one, which is zero weight, the weightless category. When should you be using your Texas rig without a weight? The answer? More often than you probably are. By throwing literally any soft plastic weightless, you are giving it the slowest possible presentation speed out there. So whether it's the retrieval speed back to you or it's the fall rate of that soft plastic through the water column to the bottom, that's going to be the slowest it can possibly go. No weight equals slow. So the first thing that I look at when it comes to picking my weight is going to be the depth. If it is 0 feet deep to 3 feet deep, I'm almost always going weightless. I also go with a weightless Texas rig if the bottom composition is very mucky or has a ton of what's called snot grass, which I'm sure a ton of you that fish ponds are very familiar with snot grass. And oftentimes that shallow water, the 0 to 3 feet, goes hand in hand with the mucky bottom and the snot grass. And so the weightless soft plastic really doesn't allow that creature bait, that worm, to dig its way into that bottom as you're retrieving it back to you, whether you're hopping it or dragging it. So trust me, going weightless will definitely help keep your lure clean as you bring it back to the boat, thus giving you a better chance of a fish biting it, because I'm telling you, a fish is more likely to eat your Texas rig when it looks natural and looks clean, as opposed to having a big glob of snot grass on your lure, and going weightless will help that. The third reason why I go with a weightless soft plastic is because of what's called pressured fish or a pressured body of water. What that term pressured means is when other anglers are fishing the same body of water as you are, oftentimes throwing the same exact lures, the same styles of presentations, the fish get used to that. They see a lot of that. And so if somebody's throwing an 1/8 ounce weight or a 1/4 ounce weight all the time, you can come in the same body of water with a weightless presentation, and because it falls slower, you're gonna get more bites than your buddies are. And the last thing to consider about weightless soft plastics is that, like I mentioned, they have a slower fall rate. And so if your water temperature is cold, let's say it's the pre-spawn, it's exiting the fall into the winter, but you still want to throw a Texas rig in your ponds and bodies of water, going weightless, even in deeper water, even if it's not the 0 to 3 feet, can still help you, because it'll get those fish to bite even if they're not in a reactionary mood, because they are able to see that Texas rig fall slower, especially in clear water. Weightless works a lot better in clear water because those fish use their eyes to feed more than their lateral line, their senses, the vibrations they feel. Clear water, they need to see it for longer to eat it, and it needs to look more natural. A weightless soft plastic Texas rig always looks more natural. And at the end of this video, you're gonna see tons of fish catches on a very, very small weight, just enough to get it down to the bottom, but still small enough to give it that very slow fall rate. And let me tell you, you're not gonna wanna miss those catches. Now, moving on to the next section of Texas rig weights, we have the most commonly used weight class, which is 1/16 ounce to 1/4 ounce. That weight class is what I currently have on this Texas rig right here, and what I have used in most lakes and ponds the entirety of my fishing career so far. And trust me, I've caught a ton of bass, hundreds if not thousands, using that weight class. Now, why is it the most popular? I think the answer is because most people at the tackle store are looking for a Texas rig weight. They see anything above 1/4 ounce and they're like, that looks too heavy. I don't really think they have any data to back up that it's too heavy, but it just looks too big, looks too menacing. They don't want to put it on their Texas rig, and so that's why this is the most commonly used. Now, should it be the most commonly used? No, I think weightless should be. But let's talk about when you should be throwing the 1/16 ounce to 1/4 ounce weight class on your Texas rigs. If that water depth is from 3 foot to 10 foot, I don't care if you're in a pond, river, creek, or stream, that is where you should be throwing this weight class, keeping it as low as you can. Like I said, weightless is the preference for most soft plastics out there. You're gonna get the most bites thrown weightless. But if you have to throw a weight, go with the lowest weight class you can. Just like when selecting fishing line, you wanna go with the smallest fishing line you can. That way it gives you a better potential to get more bites. Now, something that goes along with the 3 to 10 feet water depth is going to be a cleaner bottom. Usually in most ponds and lakes, around the bank, especially in ponds this time of the year in the spring and the summer, you're gonna have tons of muck, tons of slime, or, lining the bank for those first few feet of water depth. But the deeper you go, that stuff can't grow, it can't survive because the sunlight can't penetrate the water deep enough to cause it to grow. And so you're actually gonna find a cleaner bottom composition. You're gonna find a harder mud, a sand, sometimes even a rock, the farther deep you go into your bodies of water. And that's why I prefer to throw a little bit of a weight. And let's face it, throwing a weightless soft plastic in 10 feet of water, it takes a long time for that bait to get to the bottom, which of course is where you want your Texas rigs to be. It is a bottom contact lure. And so if you take nothing else from this video, I'm gonna go on a detour for 1 second. Make sure you understand, if you're a beginner angler, you can't fish this thing slow enough. You cannot let this thing get on the bottom enough. It is a bottom contact lure. Fish want a Texas rig for the most part. Dragging, hopping across the bottom, that's where the fish are, that's where they're gonna be feeding, and that's where you need your Texas rig to be. And so if you're throwing weightless in 10 feet of water, it's gonna take a long time for the bait to actually get down there to the bottom. That is why most anglers opt for throwing a weight on your Texas rig. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you just wanna make sure, as we're gonna talk about in the next section, you don't go too heavy on your weights. You actually go on the light side of things, because a weightless soft plastic takes a while to get to the bottom in 10 feet. But just adding a 1/16 ounce weight or an 1/8 ounce weight will almost double your speed at getting that soft plastic down to the bottom. And sometimes that's all you need. You don't need the soft plastic once it hits the water to be at the bottom in like 3 seconds. You can wait a few seconds for it to get down there, and it'll give you a much more natural presentation as you hop or drag that soft plastic back to you, as opposed to using a heavier weight, which of course would get it down there faster, but in my experience has more negatives than positives. And the last reason why this weight class is going to be the most commonly used is because if you are fishing around any kind of shallow cover, I'm talking shallow bushes, boat docks, anything that's not super heavy cover like punching grass or really, really thick timber, a weight on your Texas rig is going to be completely necessary just to get your soft plastic through there. A weightless Texas rig has a hard time getting its way through any kind of cover because it just doesn't have any kind of weight to use that gravity to get through the water, through the cover to where those fish are living. And so using any weight, usually about an 1/8 ounce for me around shallow cover, shallow timber that's not too thick, is going to be perfect to get your Texas rig where the fish are at. And the last weight category, which I believe should be the least commonly used, is going to be your 1/2 ounce weights and above. You should never be throwing a Texas rig with a 1/2 ounce plus weight in anything less than 10 feet of water, in my opinion. At that point, you might as well just be fishing a jig, because a jig, in my experience, with these heavier weight sizes, has a better hookup ratio than a big, heavy Texas rig weight. It's got a more natural presentation. It's got a bigger, more bold presentation. So I think if you're gonna throw a 1/2 ounce weight in less than 10 feet of water, just throw a jig. I think where a Texas rig excels over a jig is going to be in that finesse category, where the fish don't really want a big presence. They want something with a bit more finesse, and so a Texas rig is a great way to get a fish to bite when they won't eat a jig. And so if you're dragging a big, heavy Texas rig, it's almost not even acting like a Texas rig anymore, because that big 1/2 ounce weight is causing it to create a bunch of stir down there on the bottom. The mud is kicking up. It's not really going to get a fish that wants a finesse presentation to eat. So you might as well just throw a jig if you're gonna throw a 1/2 ounce plus. But where you need a 1/2 ounce plus is going to be in heavy cover. I'm talking heavy vegetation, heavy brush, or your deeper brush piles. Sometimes if you're throwing in a brush pile in 15 plus feet of water, a fish doesn't want a jig for whatever reason. It wants a big old monster worm, and so the only way to get a big old monster worm down there is going to be on a bigger Texas rig weight. So I hope this video gave some clarity when it comes to Texas rigs and whether or not you should be putting a bullet weight on them. My goal is always to help you guys become better bass anglers, and something that really helped me this past week was the GMC Sierra 2500. The 2022 GMC Sierra 2500 is a beast of a truck. This truck offers a comprehensive suite of trailering technologies, so no matter what you are towing, it can handle the job. The volume of the cargo bed is best in class and comes with a multi-pro tailgate for easy access to whatever you have stored in the bed. The 10-speed Allison transmission and Duramax 6.6-liter turbo diesel V8 engine made it feel like my boat was not even behind me. One of my favorite features, though, is the rear camera mirror that shows you exactly what's behind you in clear HD. A huge thanks to GMC for letting me use this incredible truck. All the information on it can be found in the video description. Let's head back on the water. Gosh, there he is. I knew there'd be one there. On the old Texas rig. Chill, buddy, my gosh. I knew it, I knew that was one. I think he's big, He was playing with it for a while. I knew it stinking was, let's go. Oh gosh, fail of a boat flip right there. Holy cow. My gosh, that's a 6-pounder right there on the Texas rig, corner of the mouth. Beautiful springtime Texas bass. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That 16th ounce tungsten weight really helped me maintain contact with the bottom, and I could tell something was munching it down there, and it was this beautiful girl. Let's go. Sometimes when you put any weight on your Texas rig, you might feel the need to work it faster to like keep it off the bottom, but just let it sit down there. You can work it a little bit faster than you do weightless, but 16th ounce weight is, I think, perfect for any kind of shallow open water fishing around rocks, around grass. I love it. Got him. Gosh. What do we got? Another big one? A nice one. Nice one for sure. Oh, gee, had trouble opening the button there. Beauty, let's go. That right there is where you want to see the Texas rig, in the roof of the mouth. Just like that. Thank you, friend. Biggins, I love it. Oh. Gosh, my goodness gracious, what a fish. Holy cow. Wow. Oh, I felt the thunk, set the hook, and that fish goes running. What an angry fish, man. And if I had fished any faster, I would have totally skipped over this fish. Absolutely stinking beautiful 4-pounder. Again, Texas rig, right where it should be, roof of the mouth. Right there. Give him a nice hook set and catch you a big. Gosh, dang. Holy cow. My gosh. Bring him up. Yes. Oh. It's so stinking skinny. What the heck? That's like an 8-pound head and like a 5-pound body. What the heck?
Like 30%, 40%.
My biggest thing.
Early going, I think that we have to like put it out there and test it. If you guys are getting negative feedback.
Gosh! Holy cow! Oh my gosh, yo! I got like an 8-pounder. Oh my gosh! Holy cow! Oh my gosh! One sec. Oh, where's my net? Yes! Yes, baby! Let's stink and go! What a way to end the video. I was on a business phone call with Strike King and Lose as I hook this behemoth. Oh, my camera's about to die. Let's get a new battery. Oh, holy cow. That's a 7, I think. Sorry, guys.
Did you catch it, Tyler?
Yeah, it's probably 8. During this phone call, I've caught a 5.5 and an 8. So after the math has been tallied, we have a 5-fish limit today of 25.51. Don't know if y'all can see that, but 25-pound bag. So this spring, I've caught in 4 days of fishing a 32-pound bag, a 31-pound bag, a 0, and then a 25-pound bag. You could say that I've either been on them or crazy off them. Either way though, I'm having a ton of fun. Hopefully y'all are enjoying these videos. Hey, if you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button. I love teaching you guys really practical ways to become better bass anglers, and by understanding how weights affect your Texas rig, it'll definitely help you catch more fish. And so if you want to see a very similar video to this one, dragging a Texas rig, but I talk about the specific hook in that video, I will put that video for you guys to watch right there. That would mean a whole lot if you guys would stay on YouTube and watch that video real quick. My name's Tyler. It is a pleasure to make videos for you guys here on the tubes, and we'll see you next time right here on TRF.